Imagine sitting across from a man who seems charming, intelligent, and polite, someone you'd never suspect of unspeakable crimes. Now picture that same man confessing to a trail of horrors that shocked the world. That was Ted Bundy, one of America's most infamous serial killers. His final confession, given just hours before his execution, left investigators stunned and the public haunted. But did he reveal everything, or did Bundy take some secrets to his grave? Let's dive into the chilling details of his last words and the mysteries that still linger. Who was Ted Bundy? Ted Bundy wasn't your typical criminal. He wasn't the shadowy figure lurking in alleys or the wild-eyed stranger parents warn their children about. Born in 1946, Bundy was clean-cut, well-spoken, and even studying law. He could charm anyone with a smile, win over strangers with his wit, and blend into society with ease. Beneath that polished exterior was a monster. From the early 1970s until his capture in 1978, Bundy unleashed a reign of terror. At least 30 young women fell victim to his brutality, though many believe the true number is far higher. How could someone so normal hide such unimaginable darkness? That chilling question still grips us today. Bundy's method was as terrifying as it was clever. He faked injuries, wore casts, or pretended to need help. Women who offered kindness walked straight into a trap. That's the hook. The predator didn't need force at first. He used charm, manipulation, and trust as his weapons, only revealing his cruelty when it was too late. The contrast between Bundy, the gentleman, and Bundy, the killer, remains one of the most disturbing dualities in crime history. Now imagine the final chapter. January 24th, 1989, the day of Bundy's execution. The clock is ticking. Outside the prison, crowds chant for justice. Inside, investigators scramble for answers before his time runs out. That's the hook. This isn't just an execution, it's a race against time. Why did Bundy suddenly start talking? With the electric chair waiting, he began confessing to murders he had long denied. Some believe it was guilt, others say it was his last attempt to control the narrative. That's the hook. Was Bundy finally revealing the truth? Or was he still playing a twisted game? His confessions to FBI profiler Bill Hagmaier and others were a chilling mix of fact and riddle. Bundy described gruesome acts with chilling calmness, yet he kept details vague on other cases. Why hold back? What secrets did he take to the grave? That's the haunting hook. Bundy may be gone, but the full truth about his crimes may never be known. The confession tapes. Bundy's final interviews, often called the confession tapes, are chilling to hear. His voice, calm and calculated, describes his crimes as if discussing the weather. He admitted to murders in states like Washington, Oregon, Utah, and Colorado, giving details only the killer would know, like where he left bodies or how he lured his victims. But here's the hook. Bundy never gave a full count of his victims. He hinted at more killings, saying things like, "There are others, but I don't want to go into it." Why hold back? Was he protecting someone? Or was it his final act of defiance? Bundy confessed to around 30 murders, but let's break it down. In Washington, he admitted to killing at least 11 women, including college students like Linda Ann Healy and Jorgen Hawkins. In Utah, he spoke of victims like Deborah Kent, whose body was never found. Each confession was a piece of a puzzle, but the picture was incomplete. He'd describe a crime scene vividly, down to the weather or the victim's clothing, but then stop short of naming others. It's like he was teasing the police, dangling answers just out of reach. Doesn't that make you wonder what else he knew? Here's where it gets eerie. Bundy dropped hints about additional crimes without specifics. In one interview, he said, "I'm not going to give you a number, but it's more than you think." Some investigators believe he killed over 100 women, but there's no proof. He mentioned unreported cases in states like Idaho and California, but refused to elaborate. Was he exaggerating to seem more notorious? Or were their bodies still hidden, families still waiting for closure? That mystery keeps us hooked. Why confess it all? You might be thinking, why would a man like Bundy, who denied his crimes for years, suddenly open up? Some say he wanted to delay his execution. By offering confessions, he hoped to buy time, maybe even a stay of execution. Others believe he craved attention. wanting to cement his legacy as a criminal mastermind. But there's another angle: control. Bundy loved power, and by choosing what to reveal, he kept investigators on a leash. Isn't it chilling to think he played games until his final breath? The victims left behind. Let's pause for a moment to remember the women whose lives were stolen. These weren't just names in a file: Susan Rancourt, Donna Manson, Margaret Bowman. They were daughters, sisters, friends, each with dreams that never had the chance to bloom. Bundy's confessions gave a twisted form of closure to some families. But for many others, the silence was deafening. For every detail he revealed, countless families were left clinging to hope or crushed by uncertainty. Was their missing loved one of his victims? The pain of not knowing is a wound that never heals, a hook that cuts deeper than any confession. How many more victims lie uncounted, their stories buried forever with Bundy? That question haunts the shadows of his crimes, a chilling reminder that the true toll of his evil may never be fully known. The psychology of a killer. What drove Ted Bundy? That's the haunting question that psychologists, criminologists, and true crime fans still wrestle with decades after his execution. In his final confessions, Bundy tried to blame his actions on a sickness he claimed he couldn't control, even suggesting that pornography triggered his violent urges. But don't be fooled. Bundy was a master manipulator to the very end. By framing himself as a victim of uncontrollable desires, he cleverly deflected responsibility. Experts, however, saw through the act. They've long described him as a textbook psychopath, charming, remorseless, and consumed with the need for control. His words gave the world a disturbing peek into his mind, but instead of providing clarity, they left behind more chilling questions. Was he confessing truthfully, or was he once again staging a performance to control the narrative? Even as the clock ticked down on his life, Bundy's charm wasn't just an accessory, it was his deadliest weapon. He knew exactly how to disarm suspicion, often pretending to be injured, walking with a fake cast, or using crutches to lure unsuspecting women into helping him. In his own words, he admitted how disturbingly easy it was to gain trust. "People don't expect evil to look like me," Bundy said. That single line sends a shiver down the spine because it forces us to confront a terrifying truth. Real danger doesn't always wear a monster's face. Sometimes it wears a smile, speaks politely, and hides in plain sight. His ability to blend seamlessly into everyday life while carrying out unspeakable acts was what made him so terrifying. And when he finally confessed, it wasn't full closure. It was another mask, another layer of deception, reminding the world that with Bundy, nothing was ever as it seemed. The unanswered questions. Bundy's confessions were a goldmine, but they left gaping holes. For every answer, there were 10 new questions. Where are the bodies of victims like Deborah Kent or Anne Marie Burr? Did he have accomplices, as some theories suggest? And what about the rumored killings in states he never mentioned, like Vermont or New Jersey? The hook here is the unknown. Bundy took secrets to his grave, and we're left piecing together a puzzle with missing pieces. One of the most frustrating parts of Bundy's confessions was his vagueness about body locations. In some cases, like Nancy Wilcox in Utah, he gave vague directions to remote areas. But searches turned up nothing. Was he lying to waste police resources? Or did he genuinely forget details after years of killing? The idea that answers died with him is a hook that keeps true crime enthusiasts searching for clues even today. Here's a twist that'll hook you. Some believe Bundy didn't act alone. In his confessions, he never mentioned a partner, but odd details, like sightings of two men near crime scenes, have fueled speculation. Was Bundy protecting someone? Or was he the lone wolf he claimed to be? The lack of clarity in his final words keeps this theory alive, a mystery that refuses to die. The legacy of fear. Bundy's confessions didn't just close cases, they changed how we see evil. His crimes led to new police tactics, like the FBI's criminal profiling system. They also sparked a cultural fascination with serial killers. Shows, books, and movies about Bundy keep his name alive, but they also glorify him in a way that it's unsettling. Doesn't it make you wonder if we're giving him the attention he craved? The final moments. As the electric chair loomed, Bundy's calm facade cracked. Witnesses say he looked scared in his final hours, a stark contrast to the confident killer of his confessions. His last words to the public were an apology to his victims' families. But was it sincere? Some say it was his final manipulation, a way to seem human. Others think he felt genuine remorse. What do you think? Can a man like Bundy ever feel regret? That question hooks us into the enigma of his soul. Secrets buried forever. Ted Bundy's final confession was a window into a dark world, but it wasn't the full story. He gave just enough to shock, to tantalize, to keep us guessing. The secrets he took to his grave, unconfirmed victims, hidden bodies, possible accomplices, still haunt investigators and families alike. His story is a hook that pulls us in, forcing us to confront the terrifying reality that some truths may never surface. Why are we so fascinated by Bundy? Is it the contrast between his charm and his crimes? The unanswered questions? Or the fear that evil can hide in plain sight? His confessions, incomplete as they were, keep us hooked because they remind us how little we sometimes know about the monsters among us. Even now, decades later, new tips and theories about Bundy's crimes pop up, keeping his shadow alive. In conclusion, Ted Bundy's final confession was not a clear answer. It was a haunting riddle. He offered fragments of truth, wrapped in lies, leaving investigators chasing shadows. His victims were real, their families shattered forever. Yet Bundy controlled the story until the end. He confessed enough to spark curiosity, but withheld enough to keep the mystery alive. And that's the terrifying hook. Bundy ensured he would never just be remembered as a man, but as a legend of darkness. Some truths die with the killer, and Bundy made sure his did. If you found this video helpful, tap the bell icon for more entertaining content, share your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for watching.